Hello everybody. I'm going to talk a little bit about the considered life. And the reason for that is because I keep making references to it in lots and lots of other videos. So I thought it might be useful just to do a few minutes on the considered life specifically. So for me at least, the considered life grew from the perspective of the Stoics. Socrates, Marcus Aurelius, people like this. People who, interestingly, had a somewhat privileged existence, right? They had the time and the ability to be able to think about these things, to consider what made them them. But Marcus Aurelius is absolutely fascinating if you read any of his stuff, because a lot of the time he was on the move with the Roman army whilst, commanding the Roman army whilst doing this pontificating and thinking. But anyway, there's a lot to the considered life. There's an awful lot to the Stoics, but it's that element of consideration which is critical and which permeates everything that they talk about. So effectively, it is, you are not what you seem. Think about it a little more, in a nutshell. Just pause. Rather than reacting, rather than running off down your rails, consider. Who is doing the thinking? Where are you when you're thinking that? When are you when you're thinking that? Who is doing the thinking? Who is thinking about the thinker? Who is observing the thinker who is thinking about the thinker? To give yourself a sense of perspective on, in my story, the stories running around inside your head. So basically, the realities that you take for granted, reconsider them. Reconsider their origins. Reconsider the ways that they are influencing your perceptions and your actions. And reconsider if they're valid, because the likelihood is that they were learned experiences that have come to be habituated, that you come to think are you, that come to be part of your identity, your personality, the way you think, the way you act, the way you interact with other people. But it turns out that has grown up as a learned response from the past experiences that you went through in particular, that are relevant as far as they go, but they're not exclusive, right? If you had other defining events earlier in your life, you would have come to different conclusions. They would have been equally valid, and they would have been equally invalid because they were just chance occurrences that came up that we attached significance to. So the whole idea is to get out of your own head, to consider, which is thinking again really, but to consider yourself from a slightly further perspective, and just look at whether or not what you're thinking is correct. But go have a look at the Stoics. It's absolutely fascinating. It'll give you a new perspective on what it means to be happy, what it means to be sad, what it means to be angry, what it means to be scared, and whether they're relevant, and where this meaning comes from, and why we attach significance to certain types of things and not to others. And is the whole thing just a cloud of soupy stories? So yeah, I think that's sufficient, okay? It's very simple. But the idea is to take a step back from yourself and reconsider. Okay, take care, because I'm getting bitten here. Bye.